Hello. Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing? Hopefully you can hear me. Make sure you can. Had a little bit of technical difficulty, had to join on another computer. All right. Let me know in the comments if you can hear me. Hello. Yep, sounds like you can. All right. All right. I think we have everything to get started. Everyone can see and hear, hopefully. I see people coming on. Yes. All right. Perfect. I see you guys. All right. Happy Wednesday, everyone. How's everyone doing? Hopefully you have your drink of your choice in your hand. I've got my water and I have my drink. So also my notes. So I'm ready to go. So without further ado, I'm going to, before we get started, tell me what everybody is drinking tonight. So happy Wednesday. Hopefully you are drinking something that you like, is refreshing. I am drinking X-Rated and Sprite together. So I haven't had that in a really long time, and it is actually pretty refreshing. Hello. I'm so glad that you guys could join me this evening. Happy Wednesday. Say hi in the comments. Are you guys ready to go? You know, we've got a lot of great things to talk about today, so I'm super excited to be here. But you know, it's rare that I'm not super excited to be here. I'm usually pretty super excited. Lemonade, I hear somebody's drinking lemonade. Anybody else want to share what you're drinking? Agua. I've got my agua here. Here's my agua in my, actually, let me pour my agua, another bottle of agua so I can stay hydrated for the day. There's one thing I do is when I do these lives, I get like super thirsty, get choked up. Hello. I see a lot of new faces on. I see Rocky, Latanya. We've got a lot of, Kimmy is on, Andrea, Tootie, Tawana, Cynthia, Jeanette, Cynthia, lots of Cynthias. Great to have you guys all on. I'm super excited to have so many new faces in the group. We are focused on growth in this season, and today we have a really great topic that we're going to go over. So I think I've given it enough time. OJ, someone's drinking OJ, Sumter, South Carolina. That's what I'm talking about. If you're going to do it right, right? Somebody's drinking OJ. You just came on, you're telling me what you're drinking. I am drinking X-Rated and Sprite in my glass, and then I've got my glass of water here. I say when you come in the evening, you should come in prepared for a happy hour, a good conversation, and with drink in hand. So if you join me live again in the future in the evening, the expectation is that you bring your favorite drink with you so that you can stay refreshed as you listen and engage in what hopes to be a great little mini training as we talk about the topic of the day. So for many of you who are new to me, my name is Sunday Gardner. I am the online travel boss, and you are watching I don't even know what number, I should write this down at the top of my notes, like what number episode of Travel Boss TV we are on. I think we're on 7 or 8. Sort of this whole nomenclature is new. But every Wednesday, I come to you live and we talk about a topic of concern for you travel professionals. And today, we're going to do it again. So if you are new, welcome to the party. For those who are not new, glad to have you. And so let's get started. So, this has been a wild and crazy last 2 to 3 months for all of us in the world, right? So not just in the United States, but all over the world. And, with toilet paper shortages, with price gouging going on, with businesses closing, and fortunately, some of those businesses will not reopen. You've got travel being halted for non-essential travel. I mean, in my lifetime, I don't think I've ever experienced that. I think 9/11, it was halted, but it certainly wasn't halted to the degree that it's halted now. COVID has impacted us personally and professionally on so many different levels. And so what I wanted to do today is, even during this pandemic, I wanted to give you guys sort of a perspective from a business as to kind of lessons learned, right? Some breakthroughs that have been reinforced for me and certainly hopefully reinforced for you or even introduced to you. So today's episode, what we're going to talk about is how COVID, what I've learned with COVID. I've got people telling me that, they can't get in, so I'll have to get them on the replay. But on today's episode, what we're going to be talking about is the lessons that have been reinforced for me during the COVID pandemic, right? So I'm going to give you 3 major breakthroughs that have been reinforced for me over the last 2 to 3 months during the pandemic. So are you guys ready with pen and paper? Because hopefully if these are not something that you've realized, you take the notes down and you really hopefully can apply these to your business. So let me know in the comments if you guys are ready. You're ready to learn what the breakthroughs are. Hopefully they're applicable to your business and or you can benefit from the big breakthroughs. So just let me know ready in the comments and let me know that you guys are ready. Take a sip. It's time for you guys to take some sips. Now, if you haven't been on one of my lives too, this is interactive. So I want to know that you guys are understanding, resonating, it makes sense, it's beneficial. So all throughout the live, I'm going to be asking you guys to let me know in comments where you stand on whatever particular issue that we're going to be talking about. Okay, so I see a lot of I'm ready. So let's get to it. Okay, so breakthrough number 1 for me has been that, having a niche in the travel industry is so key. Not only having a niche, but having choice suppliers. If any of you existing travel agents didn't have a niche and you're working with 5+ different suppliers to try and figure out how to do cancellations, who's doing what, if you just look at your inbox and you look at, like, I sign up for everything because, I service agents. And so I have a lot of different needs that individual agents have. So I sign up for a multitude of supplier information, and my inbox, just trying to keep up with all of the different statuses and where people are and who's opening and who's closing and all of that. The breakthrough that is number 1 is in this industry like no other, because there are thousands of suppliers. There are thousands of different permeations, right? If you were one of those travel agents that had to do cancellations, you had to keep track of your suppliers and who was doing what, who was doing deposit, doing reimbursements, who was not, who was honoring the insurance, who wasn't, having a small network of people that you work with, during a pandemic, which is not your norm, but during a pandemic, it just proves to be so much beneficial, right? So if you are focused in one area, you have 3, maybe 5 suppliers, but the smaller you can keep that, the more it becomes easy for you to be able to handle the interaction that happens during crisis and even without crisis, right? So during this pandemic, my specialty is cruise. I deal with a couple of cruise lines. So when I was doing cancellations, I was going down. I had my reservations that were coming up that were impacted, and I just went down the line. So when I was on the phone for hours doing cancellations, all I had to do was work with a couple of suppliers. I wasn't all over the place, right? So tell me in the comments, how many of you have a niche and how many of you have choice suppliers? If you don't have choice suppliers, just put a 0. If you do, tell me, I got it, right? Because this is going to even get even more important as we come out of pandemic, that you understand, like we did in our membership group last night, we listened to Ocean's Resort, and he's one BDM, and all we have to do to work with him is, work with one BDM, usually based on territory. You just have to work with your BDM, and that's it, right? But if you don't have a niche and you're doing trips all over the place with multiple different vendors, there's some downfall to that. One, during a pandemic like this, you had to contact multiple people, you were on hold, probably had the phones all over the place, and you weren't able to really methodically go down your list and make sure that things were good, right? So niche, few suppliers, big industry. So if you're new to this industry and you think I'm going to be a jack of all trades, I'm going to take requests from all over the place and everything in a time like we've experienced, like for those of us who were actually having to deal with customers and cancellations in March and in April, and even if you're still working through cancellations, right? Working with multiple, and I'm talking like 5, 6, you don't really have choice suppliers, you're in a horrible space. So the good thing is that a lot of you are responding that you have choice suppliers, you have a few suppliers that you work with, and so you understand that having those choice relationships is key to your survival, right? Not only to your survival, but it's also key to you making money, right? So on the downside of COVID, you work with choice suppliers. You're in any sort of emergency, you only have a couple of suppliers that you have to stay in contact with. You only have a couple of suppliers that you have to work through any issues. On the upside, when it's not during a pandemic or a major issue, you should be getting bonuses, right? They should be, rewarding you for working with them, right? So maybe they have awards if that's the kind of thing that you're into. Maybe you get higher commissions when you work with them and you hit a certain threshold, right? So there's a major advantage to working with choice suppliers as to be working with a broad spectrum. So you want to be narrow in your niche and you want to be narrow in your suppliers. It's going to help you in long term. All right, so hopefully it sounds like a lot of you guys are there. Lots of choice suppliers I've got. A lot of people saying that they only work with a few suppliers, so that's great. So during an emergency like COVID, someone wrote, I also realize there's some suppliers I won't work with. And that's true, right? So some of the choice suppliers, will those choice suppliers make it through the pandemic after this, right? Or so are you going to have to find new choice suppliers? Are you working on that now? Maybe some of the choice suppliers that you picked, you didn't like them so much. Like, I don't know that I like the way that some of the suppliers have been doing refunds, right? I don't know that I like the way that some of the suppliers have handled this crisis, not only with me, but even in the news or even their crew. Like, there are still some cruise lines that have people out on the ocean. I'm not happy with that. Like, I'm not happy with the way that they're treating their staff. I'm not sure that that's going to be a supplier that I'm going to use in the future, right? So crisis, how you handle crisis, even yourself, but even your suppliers, how they're handling this crisis will dictate if they are my supplier in the future, right? Same thing with you all, right? So your supplier is your ace in the hole. Your suppliers who you work with are your ace in the hole. So how good they manage crisis is also as critical to you as it is to your customers, right? So this is the time to be doing an inventory, right? If you had maybe 3 or 4 suppliers and you didn't like the way that they did you during this time to switch, right? Be doing that investigation. Maybe be doing retraining to figure out if you switch to a different provider. Let's say you had this cruise line and you're switching to a different cruise line, right? Do you need to do some training in order to get up on there? Do you need to introduce yourself to the BDM? Do you need to start building a relationship with that, right? So number one thing for me during COVID is that was reinforced was certainly my relationship with my suppliers and the fact that I was not all over the place in terms of my niche. So it was very clear where I needed to go when crisis hit. I knew who I needed to talk to. That contact list was readily available. I was able to get reports to see who of my clients were impacted. What did I need to do? How did I need to follow that? I couldn't have done that if I was all over the place in terms of who I needed to contact and what. And I'm talking, many of you all probably spent hours on the phone, right? I remember I had to call into one of the suppliers and I had spent like an hour and 30 minutes just to get on the phone, right? And I couldn't find my paper. Like I was in a panic because I had all the, the reservations down that I wanted to go through and all the changes that we wanted to make. And I couldn't find my paper with all the information. I thought I was going to have to hang up with her. I was like, please do not let me go. Like I've been on the phone with you forever. So, again, number one issue or breakthrough is, many new travel agents or people who start their travel business, they just think that they want to be a jack of all trades. They don't want to get a niche, or they say, I've got this broad niche. Cruise, that's a niche, right? That's an area of the travel industry, but that's not really focused down, right? Multiple hundreds of different cruise lines, right? Who are you going to work with? So you want to make sure that you're doing those one of two of those things in that first breakthrough. All right. Second major thing that I learned during COVID, the second thing I learned, I was reading somebody's notes. I think they're not getting through, but the second thing I learned during COVID was the fact that business processes will make or break you, right? So if you don't have business processes in your travel business, right, you're just sort of winging it and you're not organized. You don't have a methodical way to handle just a few of the things that I'm going to mention, right? That's going to break you. But so the best that you can do is start to address the things that you saw as weaknesses during this crisis, right? So again, how you handle crisis is going to make or break you long term. So here are a few things under business process that I wrote that were key is contacts, right? The method that I can get in contact with the people who have my customers in tow, right? So if you were one of those travel agents that had people who were already out and about on their trip when things started to shut down, right? Did you have a methodical way to get in contact with them? Did you have a methodical way to identify that list of people, right? Email probably isn't the best thing to do when somebody's on vacation. So do you have some SMS path, right? And using your phone is probably, it's quick, but if you've got a broadcast to multiple people, how can you do that, right? What's the best way for you to accomplish that, to communicate? This is what's going on. Do you have people grouped in a way that you can communicate? So contact and communication was one of the business processes that I wrote down. The other thing is systems. What kind of systems do you have in place? Are you able to pull out of your CRM system a quick way to identify who's in travel, right? Who's already on trip versus who's about to go on trip and their cancellations are pending, or they've already gotten cancellations, or trips that are going to be impacted in the next 4 to 6 weeks based on what happened, trips that are going to be, impacted, on a rolling basis. Because if you're in the middle of this, we've got rolling cancellations we've got to account for, right? Our agency took the position early on when this broke that we were going to cancel through October. We were not going to do, I made a decision and my position was very clear. We're going to cancel through fourth quarter. We're not taking any new bookings, and we're pretty much going to cancel through October, because I didn't think, based on the type of situation this was, that, trying to monkey around with the situation, not knowing, and we're still in a question mark, right? I wanted to be able to say, this is it. So I was able to pull out of our system a way to be able to track. Many of you, unfortunately, are not using a system. Many of you are using pen and paper. Many of you may have a spreadsheet. You may not have a spreadsheet. Maybe you're not good with systems and you don't have a system. I'd like for you guys to tell me in the comments, how many of you guys have a CRM system? Just type CRM. I don't care what it is, but you have some system to track your clients. You know who's on vacation, who's upcoming, you know how to contact them. You have a way to broadcast them, you know, type CRM so we know that you do. If you don't have it, put a zero. Again, I want you to identify a zero. Another thing is that came up during COVID that was from a business process perspective were fees and payments, right? Is a lot of people didn't have a fee structure. They didn't have a fee structure. Now, granted, you know, it became pretty clear that I wasn't going to charge cancellation fees when it became a pandemic and things started to shut down, right? But prior to that, I didn't know. So I was charging cancellation fees, right? Because the system, you know, the travel suppliers weren't canceling. People were just getting panicked and they were canceling, but we had a process. We had contracts, we had terms and agreements in place. I'm seeing a lot of zeros. So you don't have a system to track critical information about your clients, so that if you need to aggregate that information, it's okay in great times to be able to pick up a folder and grab it. But when you need to grab across your entire portfolio of clients where people are and be able to look at that data so that you can contact and you can make decisions about, you know, who in your business is impacted by what's going on during a catastrophe, that's critical, right? And that's your responsibility. You're liable as a travel professional if you don't have those systems in place and you get somebody hanging, right? So for those of you that have a CRM system, kudos. For those that don't, you really want to consider how are you going to manage your client data going forward, right? So the next one I've got is, so fees, payments was one of them. Is, you know, I was in a lot of different, I'm a part of a lot of different travel groups, and a lot of people were like, you know, I don't charge for cancellation. I'm on the phone and I don't charge cancellation fees. I've got people who want to cancel. And again, this was pre-determination of pandemic, right? You know, at the time it was determined that, you know, countries were shutting down, suppliers were canceling, you know, we waived our fees. But you know, there was a time where people were canceling and I'm like, I'm not taking that hit. That's part of our policy, right? I didn't make it up on the fly. That was part of our policy. So someone asked, where do you get a CRM system? So, you know, there are several really good CRM systems. I did last year in this group, I did last year a demo of, I think it was Tessa's system. Well, I think I was going to, I have to go and look to see, because I actually am currently using TravelJoy, and I'll give you guys a link. And when I give you the link, you guys will get 3 months, 50% off 3 months. So I'll make sure to include that in the link. But someone is asking about that. So I personally use TravelJoy. If you're part of Outside Agents, they use Tess, which is a CRM system that they provide. There's another one I can't think of, and that's the one that did the demo. And I can't remember the name of it, but you guys know that I'm really bad with names. But you know, there's several CRM systems that you can get off the shelf. They're online systems or some sort of variation of online. Test is not really online. I mean, I guess it's online, but it's more of a desktop application, whereas TravelJoy is fully online. But it doesn't matter. All that you want to do is have a way to systematically be able to get your customer data and to be able to understand if you need, like everybody who's traveling, who is in travel right now, people who are about to travel in the next 15 to 30 days, 3 months, 6 months, whatever that is, so that you can then start to communicate to them, right? So it's really important that you have these systems in place. For those people who are saying zero, I will tell you, zero in an emergency is a bad place to be. If you're new to being a travel professional, you don't want to be in a situation like we were in March and not be able to understand who's on your books or manually trying to figure that out. You want to be able to react. These are the things that are going to set you apart from your competitors. So when you talk about, like, you know, why would somebody choose me as a travel agent versus my competitor? It's because I got my shit together, right? Not only do I have my shit together, I got your shit together, right? So as a travel professional, my job is to not only design a trip, but it's to manage your trip when you're out there, right? It's to manage the trip prior to you leaving on vacation and while you're on vacation, right? And oftentimes to help post vacation to make sure that, anything post vacation that's tied up. What if they lose something? They got to get in contact with the supplier, whatever that is. That's your job, right? That is what we do. And if you don't have systems in place to help you, here, first of all, it's 2020. There's no reason for you not to have a system. There is a solution in place right now to help you manage your business. And if you're being the cheap side, I don't really understand why you're in the business, because there's no reason. If you're really trying to run a business and you're trying not to run a hustle, you should have systems to help you be effective in running your business. And so these are just a few things I mentioned, right? So I mentioned contact management, not only contact, but communication. Like, how do you communicate and broadcast out to your customers? How do you, what are the systems that you use to do that? So I mentioned CRM system, an email marketing system, some sort of SMS system beyond, because let's say you have a group, right? You have a group that's out and you're not with the group. How do you communicate, broadcast out to a group of 30 people? Maybe you have multiple groups that are out at the same time, right? And you're talking 50, 100, a couple of hundred people. Maybe you've got multiple groups that are going out, right? You need a way to broadcast to people who are already out where they are. What's the mechanism to do that, right? And then I talked about fees. Some people, let's say, I want to know, I'd like to get a feel for people who are on, how many people charge fees, right? Cancellation fees, booking fees. How many people charge fees? Just put fees. If you don't, put a 0. I want to know, like, do you have a plan in place when people cancel? Like, do you absorb that is that your policy to absorb cancellation fee? I don't know why that'd be anybody's policy, but I think it's some people's policy. But again, be conscientious about the decisions that impact your business. If it's something that requires effort on your part, the question is, are you getting compensated for it? Or is that part of your appeal, that that's included in your service, right? But don't do it haphazardly. Don't do it because you just haven't thought about it. Don't not charge because you're afraid, right? Make a conscious decision to either charge or not to charge, but don't do it because you haven't thought about it. Because now I'm telling you, you need to be thinking about it. So, and when I talk about fees, I'm talking about a myriad of different fees. I'm talking about, for me to design a trip, it costs money, right? For me to spend my time to craft an amazing experience for someone to go out of the country, in country, I don't care, get out of their house, requires a service, right? That's a service that I charge, right? Not only that, once we've locked it and hooked it, right? I charge for changes, right? I charge for changes. If you didn't read the paperwork and I've misspelled your name and you didn't catch that in the 30 times I've sent it to you and you checked it and we've got to change your name at the last minute, there's a fee for that. If you cancel, I don't care if you have insurance or not, it costs me time and effort to cancel. So there's a cancellation fee, right? I'm talking about, do you have a fee structure associated with the business of your business? And I don't want to hear, because I'll hear agents tell me all the time, well, I don't charge a fee. I don't think, the compensation that I get from the commission that I get from the suppliers is enough. That's bullshit, right? You're just afraid to charge a fee. I'm sorry. The reality is you're afraid to charge a fee because you don't think you're either worth it or you don't think your customers will think that you're worth it. Because if you've done any amount of research, you know how much work it takes to design a trip, right? If you're doing more than Expedia, I'll get on my soapbox. If you're doing more than Travelocity.com and just throwing together air and a hotel, and that's all you're doing, maybe you ought not charge a fee. But if you're actually designing a trip, you're taking into consideration their requirements and you're creating an amazing experience for your customers, that's worth something, right? And it's worth more than your relationship commission that your supplier, that's none of their business, right? What I have is a partnership with my suppliers, and how much my suppliers pay me for choosing their site has nothing to do with how I design a trip. Those are two mutually exclusive things. And there should be compensation for both of them. All right, I'm off my agency fee soapbox because you guys know how I feel about that. If you're new to me and you don't know how I feel about that, let me just give you a plug, right? I believe that as a travel professional, right, we are not human Expedia.coms. We are not human online research agents, right? We are not doing this and just so people can get quotes, right? That's not why I'm in business. Hopefully, that's not why you're in business, right? Hopefully, you are passionate about travel. You love to create experiences. You love to fulfill people's bucket lists. You love all that is travel. And with that love comes just what we've experienced for those who experienced March, who like we're in the middle of March. The stress that we had in March, dealing with cancellations, dealing with suppliers, rebooking, getting people home, right? Charging sometimes our own credit cards to get people to their next destination so that we can get our client back into the United States, right? I mean, I have read so many different stories about people, stuck. Like I was reading one friend, another coworker, she doesn't work with me, but she's a travel agent, and she was in Africa during the time that the United States closed down. And so she was stuck. So she, on her credit card, $15,000 to get her group rebooked on another flight and back home. Now, she'll probably handle that on the back end with insurance and some other stuff. But the point is, this is a serious business. You're not in this business, if you're in this business and you think that this is some, I'm just putting together some trips and I'm sending some people off and you're not liable, you need to think again. This is not the right business for you. This is not some get rich business. And, no, you have people's lives. You're responsible for people's lives, right? You're responsible for people's location. We're trusted advisors, right? And so with that responsibility comes a fee, right? I go to the doctor, and I love to use this analogy. I go to the doctor because they're experts in medical, right? My medical and my health, right? So when somebody comes to me and they book, right, they're assuming that I'm an expert and that I know what the hell I'm doing when I when I take their family from the United States to Italy, right? They assume that I vetted the suppliers out. I'm going to get them there safely. I'm going to make sure that their experience and all that I sold them is going to be what it is. And when it's not, they're going to look to me as the failure in that, right? So you have a responsibility to not fail in that. And if you do, what are you going to do to cover yourself, right? So my point is that this is not a light business, right? I don't want to scare you and think this is not a fun business. This is a great business. But what COVID taught me is, have your shit together, right? Have processes in place. Have terms and conditions in place. Now, if you don't have terms and conditions in place, right? You don't have your own insurance, your own commercial insurance. You're not covering your own risk. Because I'm going to tell you, when all this is said and done, there's going to be a lot of travel agents that are out of business, right? There are going to be a lot of people that are sued, right? And right or wrong, there are going to be a lot of travel agencies that are going to come out of this sued because of the pandemic by no fault of their own. And that is because that is the position that we're in. And I'm going to give you just a little bit of insight, and then we get off this particular soapbox, is we had training last year on insurance, commercial insurance. And the fact that, the Berkshire is the one who came and spoke to the group. And when I was talking to him behind the scenes, one of the things that he said is, we were talking about people charging fees, and people don't charge fees because they're not comfortable, whatever their reason for not charging fees but just because you don't charge a fee doesn't mean that you're not liable, right? Doesn't mean that someone can't sue your agency because they assumed you should know that COVID was going to break out and that, you got them stuck out there out of country and they had a horrible trip. I mean, those are, again, I'm not saying I agree with it, but those are, if a court agrees to it, again, to get sued is not a difficult thing. You have to convince an attorney that there is a cause to be sued for it. That's it. Simple as that. And what insurance does is it protects you from that. You are at risk every single time you put your name on the dotted line as a travel agent, right? So insurance is critical for your business. That's part of your business model, part of your business process. If you don't have your own commercial insurance, you're at risk, right? And during a COVID pandemic outbreak like this, again, there are going to be a lot of people who unfortunately are going to find out the hard way that they should have had insurance, right? They should have been protected. And don't give me the shit about your host agency should have you protected and they've got insurance. And no, you're not 100% protected by your host agency's insurance. You're your own business and you need to act accordingly. All right. So number 2 is business processes, right? Business processes and coverage, risk coverage, right? Risk mitigation for your business. This is not a hobby, ladies and ladies, right? There's usually no gents on here, right? I market to women, so I usually have 99% women, but this is not a hobby, right? You're not, I don't want to make any light of anybody else's other job. Take this serious, right? I want you to take your business serious. And as part of taking your business serious is to have business processes and to have insurance, right? I would never open up a business without commercial insurance, and you shouldn't open up your travel agency without E&O insurance, errors and omissions insurance. All right. Okay, so let me look and see what kind of questions are we getting. Is this all making sense to you guys? Let me know in the comments. I love hearts, so let me know. Is this all making sense to you guys? All right, let me see what you guys are putting down in terms of the comments. As for an SMS contact system, what do you use? So we actually use the SMS system that's associated with my email system. So we have a whole tagging system that we do. Unfortunately, it's not connected to our CRM system. So we have a whole tagging system that we do in our email system, and then we'll send broadcast SMSs out through our email marketing system. And I use what do I use? Active Campaign. I use Active Campaign. All right. Your insurance and don't feel protected by your host fee. Yeah, this is very true. I mean, and unfortunately, people don't know that they should have their own errors and omissions in their company name, not in their host agency's name. Yes, that's good. That's absolutely, April. You are a host agency, so you absolutely want to make sure that, yeah, Cassandra puts that, she says, I'm with outside agents and I really thought I was covered with errors and omission. And I did talk to the Berkshire and I said that. I said, the host agencies really push that you don't need you're covered up to $1 million. The point is that, I don't know, did you guys sign up with outside agents with the right did you sign up with your name or did you sign up with your company's name? Are you doing business under your company's name? Or, did you sign up with their social security number versus your own social security number? I mean, your business EIN versus, there's so many things potentially put you at risk with not having your own policy that I don't see why anyone would risk it, right? You get sued and then you find out that your, outside agents, errors and omissions insurance doesn't cover you or only partially covers you. Then what are you going to do, right? I'm telling you now, go get it. It's not expensive, compared to the risk, again, we're not talking thousands of dollars. Again, I don't know what your situation is. I don't know what state you're in. I'm not telling you, it's only going to be a couple $100s. I don't know where you are, what your makeup of your business is, but all I'm saying is make sure that you're covered, right? As a business owner, your responsibility is to make sure that you have minimized your risk. And if you're okay with not clearly understanding if you're covered by your host agency, hey, that's a risk that you're taking on. But if you get sued, in a situation that has happened that many people are potentially going to get sued, when it's all said and done, and you don't have insurance, that's sort of a hard lesson to learn, right? Get it now, right? Do it now. That's part of being in business is get it now. Okay, so someone wrote, let's see, I got to look on my phone. Someone wrote that I never knew even having a host agency, you should have extra insurance. Most people don't. And, I'm going to tell you, because this hit me, I think, in the summer of last year. I was in a group and one of the group members of, not my group, I was in another group, and one of the group members told a story. I have them look at the live from, perfect. Yes, April, that would be great. I was in a group, and one of the ladies in the group was talking about how she was going out of business because she was sued. And this is how she was sued. She was sued two different, she had two claims and they were denied. The claims were denied. So I don't know the situation by which they were denied, but this was the situation, excuse me. The first situation is she sent somebody on a trip. I don't even remember where the trip was. And one of the people that she sent, they broke their leg. They sued her. Second situation was the group that I guess a couple, I don't know if it was a couple, but her clients did a chargeback. So they did a chargeback and the chargeback was declined, like her insurance. So again, I don't know what her insurance situation was, but I don't think she had a policy. I don't know, again, I can't speak to it, but what it made me realize is those two situations put her out of business because it was $15,000 for the suit for the broken leg. And then it was like, I don't know, 20,000 or something for the insurance for the chargeback that the claim was denied. She didn't have the cash to cover those two things, and now she's out of business. So two events that she couldn't control. And who would think, right? She didn't cause the person to break their leg. She didn't cause, she didn't cause the chargeback, right? But now she's out of business because of these two situations that easily, had she had the right policy in place, would have covered her and she wouldn't have had to worry about. That's I mean, I don't want to be out of business out of something. That's what insurance is for, right? And somebody's putting in there like $400. I mean, literally, we're talking about is, $400. And, I got people who are telling me, oh, well, what about, I'm a tour operator and it's more expensive. You're not a tour operator. Most of you guys are not tour operators, right? If you're concerned about that, talk to your insurance agent and figure out what the requirements are for tour operators. And if that's what you are, qualify and do it. All I'm saying is, better safe than sorry, right? I'd rather slap the $400 down for an E&O insurance policy every day of the week and them cover me in the event of a lawsuit than not to put down $400 and to be coming out of pocket, chargebacks that somebody did because they that's what people do. All right. So somebody put that I'm confused as to what fees we can do in Florida, or can I get around it? Now, Shanti, there's a whole training we can do. I actually have a training on agency fees. There's a whole training we can do just on agency fees based on your state, right? Because there's 5 states that it's a little bit squirrely on. And in this training, I talked all about that. And so, if you are concerned about, or you're ready to do agency fees and that kind of stuff, and you're not there, we can talk about that training course that actually is off the market right now. But when I bring it back, that's something you're absolutely going to want to do. If she doesn't, I'll share it to the group. Okay, yes, that would be great. April, I know it's on YouTube. I'm almost positive that video is on YouTube if it's not in this group, but I would check in the group. If it's not in the group, it's certainly on my YouTube channel. So for those who are interested in knowing about insurance, put insurance and then I'll tag you in YouTube for the YouTube video that was on. So put insurance. And then I'll go through the comments and then I'll make sure to tag you on the YouTube video that insurance. It was a really good training. It's about an hour long, and Berkshire, he did a great job. Miguel, and his information too is in that video. Okay, perfect. All right, so you guys ready for number 3? Put number 3 if you're ready for the third breakthrough that I learned about on COVID. I'm glad you guys are getting value out of this. This is so important. All right, I got a lot of insurances. That's good. That's great stuff. You guys really, really, really need to make sure you're protected. Number 3, you guys are ready for number 3? All right, great. I see a lot of 3s. Okay, so number 3 is your marketing process is critical. Unfortunately, and let me just say it before I go into the details of this, AKA attraction. Unfortunately, many of you guys have thought, oh, it's COVID, nobody's traveling, I'm going to stop marketing. I'm going to stop attracting my ideal client because nobody wants to buy anything, right? How many of you feel like that? Like, just say, me. Like, how many of you feel right now that it's because I actually, one of you guys wrote, I am sensitive to the fact that people can't travel, so I'm hesitant to market. And I'm like, what? Like, I get that we can't travel, but do you know how cheap ads are right now? Like, ads are out of this world cheap right now, you know? And what I mean that is, like, if you've not done Facebook ads, like, this is the time to be doing it. Your customers are on Facebook right now scrolling, wishing they could book. COVID, believe it or not, has reinforced how valuable we are. Like, COVID, for those people who were online, like, what is bookit.com went out of business and took all those people's money. So people who were budget booking themselves, people who were online for hours themselves and didn't just call their travel agent and say, take care of it, like my mom did. My mom's like, oh, so you're on the phone again. And I was like, yeah, Mom, I was. She was like, okay, so can I just get that refund on that trip that we're doing? I was like, Mom, I got you. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of it, right? My point is that right now, COVID has reinforced how valuable you are, right? COVID has reinforced that trusted advisors, people who design trips, people who are about the business of their business in the travel industry are the most valuable assets you can have when you're traveling, right? Because they are the ones that take care of everything when shit goes to hell in a handbasket, like it did, right? So my question to you is, why would you not be marketing and building up your list right now? So let me just say this. If you're not, you should be. Marketing right now is what you should be doing. And so marketing is, I'll just, make it very easy for you to understand. Marketing is the process by which you attract people, the people that you want to your business, to your offers, to your fill in the blank, right? 3 reasons why you market, right? 3 right reasons. It's either to attract, for engagement, it's for sales, or it's to make people aware. Right now, you should be focused on engagement and awareness that you are in the marketplace, right? People go out of business because they're not aware, because people don't know who they are, right? You don't make money because nobody knows that you're there, right? And if you're going to tell me, well, no, I do quotes all the time. Those are not your right people, right? People that you want to know about your services don't know about you, and that's the reason why you don't have sales, because you're not making yourself available to them. And you've shut down in COVID. This is not the time to shut down. This is not the time to be not building relationships. You should be, I'm like so excited. Like, you should be right now. You should be focused on building up your email list, your mini chat list, your groups. Like, that should be all that you're focused on. And many of you are like, but I don't know how to do that, right? That's okay. We'll talk about it. But what I will tell you this, right, is just because traveling has been temporarily suspended doesn't mean that leads are dead. It doesn't mean that people are not ever going to travel again. Travel is not dead. It's just temporarily suspended. So yes, you may not be able to make immediate sales, but again, there's 2 other reasons why that you should be marketing, is to make sure that the people that you want to attract know that you're available and that you're here and that you are the trusted advisor. So that is the reason why you should market. So don't tell me, well, I'm sensitive to the fact that people are not traveling. It doesn't matter. They're going to be traveling soon, one day. I don't even care if it's next year, right? That means from May, we're at the end of May, beginning of June. And let's say we can't travel, right? Let's say the United States won't allow travel until January of 2021. That gives you 6 months, right, of time to not only be building up an amazing list of people that You've been building a relationship that you are relating to, that you are keeping in the know about their destinations, the things that they want, so that when the time that they can travel, they're ready. Who are they going to? They're going to you. They're not going to Expedia.com hoping shit is all better by then. No, they're coming to you because you've been building that relationship. You've been working on that relationship. This is the time to be marketing now. All right, so I'm going to say this very profound statement. Future six-figure, seven-figure travel agencies right now are marketing their business. You want to be a six-figure, seven-figure travel agency. You do not stop marketing during a non-travel area. You are building. That is all that you are focused on. You are every day going like this, trying to figure out, how can I get 10 to 15 new leads in my business right now? And I'm qualifying them. And I not only am qualifying them, I know what they want to do the minute it drops, right? The minute Antigua opens up and starts taking in people, right? I mean, that's what you should be focused on, period. Like, I don't want to hear, well, I'm not making any money. It takes money to make money. And right now you should be investing in marketing. So, you can believe me or not, but I'm going to tell you, future six-figure, seven-figure travel agencies right now are marketing their business, right? They're growing their email list. They're growing their contact list. They're nurturing their clients. They're building relationships. And so the minute it opens up for whatever their niche is, they are ready to go. They've already got groups probably planned for 2021, right? They've already got groups planned for 2022 and are taking payments and are taking their agency fees right now, right? Travel is not dead. Travel is on hold. That's a difference. I don't want you to be the non-six-figure travel agency that's focused on today and the fact that you're not making money versus what you're going to be making if you position yourself as the go-to person for your travel niche, in 5, 4, 3, 2, whatever number of months it's going to be when it opens back up. Again, it's the short-sighted travel agency that's saying, I'm not doing anything because I can't travel now. Right? Are we short-sighted or are we in this for the long haul? Okay. All right. So let me see what the comments are saying. Yes, April says, yes, they are, because I see their ads on Facebook and Instagram. That's right. Right. I'm telling you, future and existing six-figure, seven-figure travel agencies. So if you want to be one of those, you're going to have a marketing strategy that's got you on point right now, marketing your business. Right. And I'm talking aggressively. I mean, ads are ridiculous. Like this weekend, I was doing marketing, right? I was doing ads. I mean, I'm running ads all the time. I was running ads. I mean, ads were like the cheapest I've ever had. It was a holiday weekend, right? That never happens. It was a holiday weekend and ads were off the chain cheap this weekend for me. So somebody's saying they've got a group and they're building relationships with their group. That's great. Are you growing your group? Like, are you growing your group? Are you working on getting new members in your group every day? Right? That should be your focus, right? Building those relationships with your existing group. But I'm going to tell you, like, my focus is on growing this group. You know what? I'm going to give you a bonus thing that I found out during COVID is your mindset is so critical during an emergency, right? Because it's really easy to go into panic mode, right? And it's so easy to go into woe is me mode. And I'm not going to lie, right? My clients are you guys, right? My clients are travel agents who are ready to up level, who are ready to invest in marketing, who are ready to do, the next big thing in their travel agency. So they are, they're no longer here. They're where they want to go to, right? And, I'm not going to lie, when COVID hit and I started to think about the fact that I'm a coach to travel agents, I was thinking to myself, and I'm going to say this, and you may not, if you're new to me, because a lot of you guys are new to me, I'm going to say, I call the voices in my head, the bitches in my head, right? Those bitches, they were talking in my head. They were like, you know what? Nobody's going to want to buy training. There's no travel, right? Nobody's going to need coaching. Nobody's going to want to start travel agencies. Nobody's going to want to start travel businesses. You know what? You need to shut your ads off. You don't need to work on new ad strategies. You don't need to do that, right? Because they're sad. They don't want to try. They can't travel. They can't sell. That's bullshit. So I had to tell the bitches, like, you're wrong. Like, that's wrong. not only did I tell the bitches that they were wrong, I proved the bitches wrong, right? Because I'm running ads and have been running ads since March, and nothing but new people who want to start travel businesses. There's nothing but new people who want to up level or make changes to their travel business and become a 6-figure or 7-figure travel business, right? That's what I discovered. And if I had listened to the bitches in my head, they would have said to stop marketing, like the bitches in your head are telling you to stop marketing, right? I told them to shut up and I kept marketing. Not only that, learned new strategies and I'm marketing a different way that got me like cheaper ways to get new people. Our group, just in 1 week's time, I added 80 new people to our group, right? My job is to coach travel agents, right? Travel professionals. And not only am I doing that, if you're not growing the groups that you have, how are you getting the new blood? The most excited people that are in your group are the new people, the newest person that comes in your group. You got to focus on growing your group, right? So it's great to nurture your group, but the energy of our group that's changed just in the last like 2.5 weeks since we've been focused on growing our group has been phenomenal, right? That's the kind of energy that you want in your business, and new people bring that energy, right? They stir up the people who've already been there and they bring a new energy and a new desire, right? So you want to be growing your groups if you have groups. All right. So how many people are getting value out of this? All right, let me see what you guys are saying. I was wondering about that, if I was or wasn't appropriate. I'm not sure, April, what you mean by that. Tell me a little bit more. Somebody says that they've been building relationships in their group, which is great. Somebody said I need to learn how to target with ads. Somebody said I fell off and I fell off track. Got to get back on track, right? I need to pivot and focus on growing my group and start planning trips for 2021. That's absolutely right. Mary says that. Somebody says, tell it. That's right. I was looking at my group activity and I have lots of engagements. So they're definitely reading my posts. That's great, Mary. Group growth. That should be your focus. Group growth, group engagement, right? You want to start understanding what your customers need, right? What do they want? When things start to let up and areas of the business start to let up. I mean, I'm in a Caribbean group right now, and every day the lady of that group, she's posting like across the entire Caribbean how many deaths there were, how many cases there were, what the opening dates are for the Caribbean, right? The Caribbean is anxious to open, right? They will do so with the health and well-being of their customers in mind. But I'm telling you, the Caribbean, Mexico, just had a training with Mexico, one of the suppliers in Mexico, Ocean Resorts. And, they were supposed to open in June. They're now opening in July. But those countries are just waiting open. Are your customers people who want to go there? Is that your specialty, right? Are you keeping track of that, right? So granted, I'm not sending anybody anywhere until after October. That's Sunday, right? What you do is your business, as long as you've mitigated your risk and you feel comfortable about what it is that you're doing. My point is people are ready to travel, right? They're just waiting for the go ahead. What kind of risk do you want to absorb? Are you going to be the customer? Are you going to be the travel agency that fills those immediate requests? Are you going to wait for the long haul? What is your position, right? Market to those people and start getting those people in your group. Start talking to them. What do your people need? What do they want? Are you fulfilling that? Are you positioned to make that happen, right? Have you talked to your insurance agent to see what your risk exposure is? All of those things are things that you should be doing now. The more you grow, the more information you'll have. All right, somebody says my group is dead. What does that say about me? It doesn't say anything about you, Tiffy. What it does say is that you got to get on it, right? You know that it's dead, so do something about it, right? You knowing something and not doing something is your fault. Now that you know, let's do something about it. All right. So Andrea says that she has a separate Facebook group outside of the business page. Yes. So business page is great, but Facebook group is better. I mean, engagement, unless you're going to pay for every post that you do on your business page, you need a group. Your group is where the action happens. That's where the motts is. That's where the money is. That's where everything is in your group, right? All right, so I got somebody saying, I don't know who that is or not there, says that I really need to get my group going, run ads, and use this as an opportunity to build my contents and book hashtag 6 figures. Amen, right? So you got the message of today's message. All right, so those are my 3 things. So my bonus thing was mindset. Man, I'm going to tell you, get the bitches in your head in check. Make sure that whatever you need to do, right? You need to journal, you need to talk to them, you need to prove to them, they don't mean anything harmful, right? I have a whole unit in this group on mindset. The bitches are not mean, like they don't mean to hurt you. They want the best for you, but they don't know any better. They're stupid, right? They don't know any better about what you can or cannot do, right? Because they only know what they've experienced. They don't know that there's a possible way because they've never experienced. So they're just trying to protect you, right? Bunk that, man. This year is bold and fearless, right? Just because, I love it. Check the bitches. I love it. Hashtag check the bitches. That is totally my new hashtag. Check the bitches. Forget all this politically correct stuff like, hashtag mindset, hashtag, check the bitches. That is my new hashtag. I love it. But what I'm going to tell you is that it's not, just because COVID has happened doesn't mean that your business is over, right? Many of you guys have full-time jobs. This is not your full-time gig. There are some people where this is their full-time gig, and that they are, there is suffering that's happening financially as a result of that. I could do a whole live stream just on that and how to position yourself not to be in that position if this were to ever happen again. But let's just say most of you all have another income, right? And, you are not, decimated by the fact that travel has halted. Most of us, have some other income that is coming in. And if that is your case, then because I talk to every single one of you guys as you come in. Like 99% of the people are not doing this full time. This is part time, and they want it to become their full time gig. So this is the time, if you really want to transition this to be your full time gig, this is the time to prepare, right? This is the time to get your house in order, to prepare for that if you've positioned yourself right, for that onslaught of work that's going to come, right? I talked to somebody this week and they're like, yeah, when things are good, I'm working 14, 15 hours a day, right? 14, 16-hour work days, right? Because I'm not positioned to handle a major wave of work, right? So you work this business and you've got an influx and you're a one-person show and you're working 16 hours a day. That's not why I became an entrepreneur. I didn't become an entrepreneur to be slaving for myself. I don't want to slave for the man. I don't want to slave for myself, right? I want to create an environment where I'm able to run my business if I'm there or not, right? And that my business is going to flourish and still continue to make six figures if I'm putting 16 hours in or if I'm not, right? So that requires a model that can sustain that, right? So mindset is critical to that. Having the right mindset, right? Not falling to, what is very easy, particularly in this pandemic sort of mindset that we're in, or this fury of uncertainty and whatever. Stick to the plan, man. Stick to the plan. That this is not the time to start throwing things up in the air and be like, just F it. I don't need to market. I don't need a business process. My business is the shit. No, man, this is the time. Millionaires are going to be made out of what's going on right now. There are people who are starting businesses. There are people who are positioning themselves to be 6, 7, 8-figure travel agencies, right? There are businesses that are not going to open again, right? Because they couldn't position themselves for success. They couldn't, during the time that they should have been getting things together, they weren't together, and they're not going to be able to withstand, right? You all shouldn't be in that position right now, right? I got somebody who's saying that they're full time. Tiffy, if you want to talk, I think I may have already emailed you, messengered you. Tell me what's going on in your business. And you know what? I'm going to actually extend this out to everyone. Marketing is critical right now, right? So I want you to put marketing equals attraction, right? It is the process that you do with attraction, how you attract new clients to your business, or prospective clients, leads to your business. And the whole purpose of marketing is to qualify people, right? To determine if they're the right fit, to determine if they're the ones that would interest in, but you got to know what it is that you sell. If you tell me you sell trips, right? That doesn't tell me anything, right? It doesn't tell me who you need to market to. It doesn't tell me what niche you specialize. It doesn't tell me why somebody would pick you over Joe or Jane or Sally or Mickey or whatever, right? Right? You got to know what it is and who it is that you service, right? Who are you trying to attract? What is it that you do? What sets you apart from your competitors? What sets you apart, right? And when you know that, then you can attract those people and you know if somebody is the right fit or not, right? Marketing equals attraction. I love that, right? Marketing equals attraction. And you should be in the business of attracting right now, attracting your ideal client. If you don't know who your ideal client, then that's work that you got to do, right? If you don't know who you should be attracting, right? You don't want to be attracting everybody. I don't want somebody who just wants quotes, right? And who is asking 15 different people to get them quotes, right? I want people who want luxurious cruise trips, right? Right? I got a certain avatar that match, right? Who is it that you want to attract? That's what you should be answering yourself, and then you should be focused on attracting that person, building relationships. So when it's time to because literally it's going to be like boom, these places are open. Boom, the United States is going to start letting you go travel, right? Boom, passports are open. Go get your passports. Let's go, right? You don't want to be doing it then. You want to start marketing then. You want to already have your marketing strategy and your attraction in place, right? So here's what I'm going to extend to you today. But before, because I wrote this quote down and I want to say it because I thought it was pretty cool when I wrote it down and I was thinking about this. Travel has not permanently been eliminated, which means that marketing shouldn't stop, right? If we were in a business where our source thing has dried up, then I'd say run for the hills, all that, right? That's not our situation. Our source has temporarily halted, which to me is a great opportunity to get your shit in order, right? Write it down. This is the time to get your shit in order, right? If you don't have processes, you don't have a marketing strategy, you don't have a niche, you don't have choice suppliers, you don't have insurance, you wrote zeros on some of these things, this is the time to get in order. Not when you got 50 people calling you or you got all your girlfriends in bikinis and you're like, well, why didn't they call me? You should ask yourself, why didn't they call you, right? Because you should have already been letting them know that you wanted to take care of all that, right? Not only that, you should already have it taken care of when it's time to put the bikinis on, right? So my point is, just because it's halted, it hasn't stopped. So that means your marketing shouldn't stop. You should always be doing it. So again, COVID has reinforced the fact that we are needed, right? So it's not like you don't even have to like go hard and like try and convince somebody a travel agent is needed. All you have to say is, well, do you want to be on the phone for hours in the event your airline gets canceled? And if you do, well, okay, nice to meet you. I'll talk to you later, right? Like, don't even waste your time, right? And I was on a call with a client the other day on a coaching call, and I told him, I said, listen, I don't even take customers who decline travel insurance. It's not an option. Like, you can't work with me if you decline travel insurance. I'll take your design. I'll let you know that up in the discovery fee, the discovery call, right? Insurance is part of the quote. Like, you don't get an option to not do it, because if you don't do it, you still pay the fee to me, but I'm not booking you. I'm not taking on that responsibility, because I don't want to deal with people who don't have insurance. Like, I don't want to have to deal with all that shit, right? So, I'm in groups and I'll listen to people, not in our group, but I'll listen to people be like, I give people choices. I don't give people choices. It's my business. It's not their business. It's my business. I don't give you choices. Now, if you want to take the choice of not having insurance, then you need to take your business elsewhere. You can't be in business with me, right? Because I already know in the event of some shit that you didn't foresee happens and you're not covered, you're going to be looking at me as to why I didn't do that. And then I'm going to have to bring up all this paperwork as to why you declined it and why I told you so. And then you're going to be like, well, you should have told me more. Like, I'm not dealing with it, right? That's my policy. What's your policy, right? So again, I'm saying COVID has given us the opportunity to get our shit together. So take it, do it. So here is my, I'm reading the comments, right? I see river cruising, I see girl getaways, I see no choice at all. And it just makes me feel good to realize that, this is hitting home for you guys. So I'm so excited that it's hitting. And Jennifer says that she likes that method, right? There's no option. So here's what I'm extending to you. I want you to write ARC in the comments if you're ready to take your marketing, you're ready to invest in your marketing, right? Don't write in the comments, ARC, if you're not really ready for attraction, right? Actually, I'd rather you write ARC or attraction. If you're ready to invest in marketing. So if you don't have a marketing budget and you're not ready for paid ads and you're really not ready for that, don't write it now. I'm not talking to you right now. I'm talking to those people right now who are on this live who are ready to invest in marketing, their travel business, right? If you're ready to invest in marketing in your travel business, I want you to write ARC. And then I will personally reach out to you tomorrow, starting tomorrow, and we'll schedule some time to determine if you really are a fit for marketing your business, right? And if you're a fit for a program that I've got. So ARC, if you're ready to invest. So I can't be any more clear about that. If you're not ready, it's not your time. That's okay. I'm not right now. That's not what I'm talking to you. I'm just talking to those people who are ready to really start to take their marketing to the next level, right? Because I've got some really good stuff that's coming up for you. So ARC, ARC, and what does ARC stand for? Attract, relate, and convert, right? Attract, relate, and convert. So if you are ready to attract, relate, and convert at a higher level, then write ARC, right? And I will reach out to you. And what I mean by that is I'm going to send you a private message, and we will determine if you are a good fit for attracting, relating, and converting. Okay. All right. So give me some love. How was this for you guys? I always like to end with that question. Did you get some value out of today? Did this help you? Do you feel like COVID doesn't got you down, that you're really ready to take your business to the next level? Are you? Rocky Thumb says, oh my God. I hope that's an oh my God good. I think I'm getting some love. That's right. I can see it now. That's great. All right. So this was beneficial to you. Awesome. All right. Awesome. Arquette says, awesome. All right. Someone says, I got so much. Let me see. I can't see the name. Sherelle says, thank you. Rocky says she got so much. Mrs. Tuesday. So Mrs. Tuesday, nice to meet you. I'm Sunday. I love that. Hopefully your name is actually Tuesday. I don't think I've ever met a Tuesday. Tuesday says that she's working on the website currently and I'm ready to invest. That's why I'm ready. Okay, wonderful. Jazz says this hits home. Thanks, Jazz. Awesome. Thank you so much. The information was gold. We'll catch the replay. Awesome. Good nuggets. All right, that's good. All right, listen, I'm here every Wednesday night. And I just want to wrap up by saying this. Hey, this whole month has been Love Your Travel Business. We start the beginning of the month, the beginning of May, with Travel Appreciation Day, Travel Advisor Day. I think it's the 6th of May. And all the month of May, I always celebrate, travel agents and travel professionals. And I really wanted to end this month with saying, this has been a very difficult time for a lot of travel professionals, travel businesses, a lot of people who probably haven't taken the jump because they're fearful of what this industry has to hold. And you know what? I'm going to tell you right now, I don't have the fear that this industry isn't going to be a boom, even more so than it was before. What it has taught me, though, is about preparation, right? Be prepared, good or bad, to cover your business and cover what your investments are, right? We go into business to make money because we're passionate, we love what we do, all of the above, right? But the point of being in business is that you are responsible for something. And as a travel professional, you're responsible for your clients' well-being. Again, you're not, responsible for their mental well-being, but you're responsible for their family. They're entrusting their families with you. They're trusting their loved ones, their friends, themselves with you. Take that responsibility to heart, right? It's not just about, the commission that we make. It's not just about the money. It's about the responsibility that we have to create these experiences and create these experiences is the best word I can think of for our clients, right? And that has a certain amount of responsibility. I don't think I'm any different than any other professional. I'm no different than a lawyer. I'm no different than a doctor. I'm no different than any other professional that's out there. I spend a lot of money and a lot of my time staying educated in my field of expertise, right? And so do you all, right? And as such, don't take it lightly, right? Don't undercharge, don't not value who you are, and make sure that you've got your business in place so that you can do the very best job that you can and that you're here for, right? So we're going to be concluding Love Your Travel Business, but every day is Love Your Travel Business. Every single day that we're in business, you need to love what you do. You need to love yourself. You need to love what you do, love the people that you work with. And if you don't, get rid of them, right? If you don't like your clients, get rid of them, right? Don't deal with clients you don't like, because you should love what you do. You should love the people that you work with. If you don't like your clients, it's your fault, right? That means you're attracting the wrong person. If you don't got clients that do what you want, you don't got the right clients, because you're in charge of that, right? So all I can say is I have enjoyed this month, but we're going to continue. All this year is hashtag bold and fearless. All this year. Hashtag bold and fearless. And COVID-19 isn't going to stop that bold or fearless, right? I'm not going to act fearfully. I'm going to be bold every time I show up. And I want you to do the same thing. All right. Hashtag bold and fearless. All right. So again, if you're interested in taking your marketing to the next level, put ARC. I'll reach out to you starting tomorrow to get you scheduled with a conversation with me. And with that, ladies and gents, have a great evening. If you watch this in the replay, do not forget to push hashtag replay. If you are on YouTube, do not forget to like and subscribe. I love you all. And that's right. Check the bitches. Hashtag check the bitches. And I will talk to you guys soon. See you next Wednesday. Bye.